So this is my Gothic Dorothy from Oz. And we did our 3 models last night. So that's a raspberry, a caramel, and a strawberry skin. And she is going to be very fair. Looks like I gotta take some more cups out. I like to mix my paint in these little plastic cups. I just subscribed to them, and then it makes my cleanup really good. I have like a little stack over there where I put all my used colors in, and that way if I need to go back and touch something up. So we're going to start with some light veins, and then I'll do the undertones after. You can see that I've already mixed this undertone paint. It has a little bit of black in there. I still want my veins to be a little bit thinner than that, but we'll give it a shot just to see. For veins, I like to kind of use a very thin, sort of longish brush. This brush, I think I got it from Irresistibles, and it's a Baby Strokes lines. I could have got it from McPherson's too. I shop from Irresistibles and McPherson's regularly. And so we're going to go ahead and not start on the head. When I first get going, I like to grab something that isn't going to show up as directly until I get my paint consistency down. And I need something to sort of blend with. I got this bag full of stippler brushes, and I'm going to see if I can wet one of these and use this to blend out some of the veins. I'm just trying it. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but we'll give her a shot. Alright, for veining, just some really simple instructions. It should look like lightning bolts, like wriggly veins. On the foot, I like to do the back of the leg, like the side of the ankle into the foot. And let's just take a look and see how thin my paint is here. That's actually not terrible. Let me wet my sponge and see if it can blend it just a teeny bit. Veins kind of like join, and I like to make like X's and V's. And then they kind of just disappear. And this is going to have 2 more layers of skin over it later. So I can go a little darker if I want to. Let's see. So veining is one of those things that I don't think, I try not to skip, because I really think that when I look at a doll that has even just the slightest of veins, it just seems more complete in my eyes. Usually we have like some squiggly ones that come down like I really like to run them around the ankles. Sometimes on the bottom of the foot. I like to do both sides of the ankles. Can you see it? Maybe we'll go ahead and just run some around this thin. The skin is thin in the around the ankle area, so that's an area that I try not to ever miss when it comes to veins. And then as it moves up into the leg has a little more meat, so the veins usually disappear. Try and blend that one out just a little bit at the end. We'll just sort of go like that, and then, yep. And veins are just like, if you think about, they kind of just look like little lightning bolts. They have like little branches that would crack across the sky. And everybody has a similar vein pattern, but they're still very different. So you can just kind of do whatever speaks to you. We all have like what I'm saying is a basic circulatory system, but everyone's is unique. And if I really wanted to, I could come in with a secondary color like a purple and go over and have two different colors of veins. And I really do like that, especially with my darker themed dolls, is to give them a couple different colors of veins. And this doll is going to be a scarier themed doll, so she is going to be Gothic Dorothy from Oz. This is the first day I've had to finally just paint in peace with no kids. They both are in school today. And so usually my husband's down there making music, and he'll be back in a second. He had to run an errand, so I'm like, yes, the house is myself. For like 10 minutes. Can you see it? And like I said, they'll kind of even be more light once I get the next couple layers of skin over top of this skin. Thank you for the hearts. I appreciate it. Feel free to share. I don't know how many people want to watch veins being drawn on a doll, but some people might find it fascinating or therapeutic. That's the reason why I got into making dolls in the first place. Was for the therapy aspect of it, the relaxing aspect of it. Let's go ahead and just give her a couple on the bottom of her foot to match the other foot. And then I'm going to blend those out really well. Okay, looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and now that I'm sure my paint is a good consistency, I will start the face. So how do you know how to, I'm reading upside down. How do you know how to do the veins? Do you have a picture? Nope. I did a long time ago, but now I just try to pull it out of my head. I've done it so many times that I just make a little note on, like, here, I'll read it to you. So I paint by my own notes. And then right here where it says veins, I have a little cheat sheet of where I'm going to write, where I'm going to put those veins. And that's all I do now. Just follow my little cheat sheet of where I'm going to put them. There are pictures, like you can Google like veins on humans, or you can also find like guide for veining on reborn dolls. I've seen that quite a few times. But for me, I just have a basic idea where I'm going to put them, and then come in and squiggle them in. I think I'm going to go ahead and do both purple and blue veins on her because she's going to be gothy. Let's see, and so we have sort of a trigeminal vein that is like a 3-prong, and it runs sort of along the cheek and like that down into the face. I like to sometimes put little veins in the ears. And as I was saying earlier, everyone has somewhat of a different. Don't think it's. You don't have to overthink it, is my point. You don't have to be perfect. But it's these little teeny details that really do make the doll. I'm not a really big fan of undertones or veining as like the art. It's kind of just like one of those things that I gotta check off my list. But I don't think I would want to miss it because it just really does brings it out. Okay, I admit it. I'm not a big fan of like the first 5 to 7 layers. They're not the fun layers, it's not the details. It's just it's the thing you gotta do to make the doll look really finished and polished and complete. I guess there's some artistry to veining, but normally I would not be putting these veins on by the eyes, but she's Gothic, so that is why she's having veins here. Yeah, there's a hair in there. So she will be more heavily veined. She's going to have black, long, curly hair and pigtails like Dorothy. And let's see, her hairline will probably come right above her name there, Sophie. I have such a backup of projects that I think it's funny when I sideline from what I'm working on and I am gonna go ahead and make this style real quick. It happens all the time. That's why when people message me and have requests, I say I don't take customs, but I have a list of like suggestions, and I always tell people leave me a note with what they're looking for, because if I jump off from what I'm working on and need inspiration just to work on something else, it's very possible I might do your request. And if you don't follow me, you'll never know. So give me a follow. All right, she's going to have hair that covers all that. I don't need to keep going with that all the way up there. All right, let's do the arms. Or actually, let's do the chest. Let's see, diamonds. I try to think of like diamond shapes. So wet again.
Okay, let's go ahead and take it out, like right here.
Blend that out.
Blend that out. Let's see. Oops, sorry, here. Position that a little better.
Yep, you would probably have like a vein that would come down from your neck into your other blood supply. And this is a cool thing that just happened, is it created just this tiny little like box shape. And I think that's kind of a cool thing. Oh, that's because this has picked up some blue now. There we go, looking good. And I gotta do my undertones. Let me get these veins down. This little piece that I cut out is still hanging in there. Come here. Blend, blend. And I'm gonna do some purpley veins. I wonder if I have purple vein pre-mixed. Probably don't. top of the wrist onto the hand, under wrist from arm to hand, upper arm, side of elbow. So if you look at your hands, I have tattoos, but you can sort of see how, they create like these different diamond shapes. And you just try to look at your own hand and do the same. I want that to blend just a little bit more down here at the edges. So it looks like they kind of go back underneath the skin a little more. I am overdue for a manicure. Yeah, I wish I still had my arms so I could see, but my arms are covered. Let's see, I'll bring this one like that. Usually have a really good one that runs right over your wrist, down into the hand. I'm making sure I didn't miss any comments here. Let's go ahead and just run it up the arm a little bit, but make it sort of fade into the arm. Can you see it? We're going to do the same thing here on the top. All right, so my notes again said upper wrist from arm to hand, so up here down there, and then the side of the elbow. Usually you can see, well, you can't see it on mine, but usually you can see it. Usually have a nice big one in your arm. This is why they draw blood right here. And go ahead and blend out into the arm. I have something on like the armpit that's sort of a thicker one, and I usually kind of just blend it out. And same thing over here with the shoulder. I like how that looks. There. And so kind of neat because then like the veins just sort of connect. I want to give her one over her elbow. Sure, why not? Let's bring it down from this one. All right, I'm happy with that. Let's go to the other arm. Top of the wrist onto the hand. Pounce, pounce, pounce. Usually have one come in that side. Let's go ahead and do the same thing on this one. Usually have a nice big thick vein. Right, brings the blood from the upper arm into the hand. And take that and just sort of run it up the arm, or you can blend it into the arm. We can even go ahead and join these guys right here. Let's do the same thing on this side. And if you didn't already know, I am using air dry paints. I used to paint using heat sets, but I converted in 2020. And I melted my elephant, Babette, cat's nose, and I said, never again. And I had a really, really big stash of Genesis, and I just sold everything and used the proceeds to get my Ultimate Fusion air dry. And that is what I use. I use Ultimate Fusion, or Reborn FX mostly. Ultimate Fusion is sometimes hard to get, but Reborn FX I found is really easy to get at McPherson's Arts and Crafts. They also sell it at like Irresistibles, Dolls by Sandy. She's had, I don't know if she has Ultimate Fusion actually. Another brand that I also started out with was Waterborne. And they are really great because they sell kits, like whole starter kits. So it'll come with all of the things you need to do either a Caucasian or ethnic skin baby, known as Honey Bunny. I'd have to look at my paint bottle, but I think I have a thing of Slow Dry floating around. Let me see. Here is Waterborne air dry doll paint. And yeah, more, but she has some really cool iridescents, which are wonderful for fantasy. And I honestly haven't been on her site in a while. I want to say someone had posted her starter kit that she also sold on Amazon, and that is how I originally found her. Let's go ahead and run this one around the elbow like we did on the other one.
It blends into the arm. Let's go ahead and bring it down like this. And then just blend it out.
And I'll go ahead and show you side by side here in just a minute. I don't know if you can see it on camera or not. So remember, these are going to be underneath a few more layers of skin, so you're not even going to see this like brightness. It's going to be faded back quite a bit, but because this is a Gothic themed doll. Just adding some purple. This purple probably has other colors mixed in with it because I usually pour my paints back in when I'm done. Let's go ahead and thin it out with some paint dilute. All right, just for funsies, let's add some purple into her veins. And you can see it. Again, she is not a normal baby. She is a Gothic, dark themed doll. She has dark eyes, and she'll have dark hair and very, very pale skin when she's done.
Here.
You could probably use this technique on a myriad of alternative themed dolls, where you get in there with a couple different colors of veining. So I'm just sort of going along the line of where the blue was, but then I'm changing it out so there's like another blood source running through or something. You can just be creative with that. Try to make them look like little lightning bolts. I'm planning on doing a series of vampires this fall, and I'm really excited about it. My husband and I had made a bunch of coffins, and I recently sold the last all but one of my coffins. And I'm not sure if we're going to ever do that project again, because I gotta say it's very hard to tote those coffins around, and just as a logistics and going to different shows and things, and the shipping, wow, the shipping was just kind of crazy for it too. So I don't know if we'll ever do that again or not. If we do, we might do it on a much smaller scale, and that's one of the ideas that I'm sort of keeping in my back pocket for one of my fall projects. Looking good though. Okay, leg one. Let's go ahead and do leg two. We're just making our veins a little more veiny. This Dorothy from Oz is going to have tattoos, and I just ordered some patches, and so I'm going to distress her dress and add some Gothic sort of patches to it. Maybe a blood splatter. Boo. Let's make that a little. Let's do some squiggly veins like across here. I think I might try to finally get my Bride of Frankenstein done this fall. So I am going to be having a table. I have a couple different shows. Let me go ahead and pull it up so I can give you the exact information. Asheville area on April 25th. There is Axis Arts Presents Oddities and Art Market. And my husband found that one and was like, hey, this is a bunch of local people. Let's go get a booth and see if it's available. And they happen to have a nice corner booth available for us. And so we're going to be there, Ag Center. And I believe the proceeds go to help up and coming artists. So is, doing the good work, and I appreciate that. And so we love supporting that. And then the time is from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. So I have to get there earlier to set up and stuff. But y'all, if you want to see some of the dollies and life IRL, and yeah, I'd love to see some of you. So that's coming up in April, and then July is like the big show for me. That I'm a doll collector, and so I have been going to a convention in Norfolk, Virginia, and this year it's in New Orleans, and I have a sales table there. hit mute, but I'm back now. I'm just basically going all over my vein lines because I like the way it looks. I don't know. I think I'm going to come in with a third color. I know. I don't know. I think I am, though. I think I'm going to do a... Why am I doing that? Because I really want her to look gothy and creepy and veiny, and I really like the way this looks. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to come in with another vein color. So we're going to do three colors of veins.
Means you are willing to devote your time and effort to making your vision come about. This is not necessarily an easy choice. 9 times out of 10, with your limited time and energy, you must choose among alternative visions of where your life might go. Which choice are you going to take? Making a choice is much more powerful than saying, I want, even when the vision itself is exactly the same. After choosing, the vision itself feels more enriched, and the task of reaching it more creative. As with any life-changing choice, a marriage, the choice to bring a child into the world, or the choice of a career, there is a custodial sense invoked. You become a
simple answer to the question why we can't depend on one person's vision is it's not enough.
Strawberry
From a business
blush.
standpoint, from a practical standpoint, it's not enough. You need
Try
to
that as a
absolutely
vein.
vital to have the imaginations and passions of people at all levels.
Maybe
More
with a little
deeply,
bit of that.
life becomes more meaningful. The enterprise becomes more energized. People become more committed, patient.
Do a little
People become
dilutant.
more deeply engaged. It isn't easy, and it's certainly messy. It's not a neat, clean world of bosses giving orders and people following it. But that neat, clean world of bosses giving orders and people following it has
Okay, we have undertones. And don't be like, oh my gosh, that's so dark. The veins are so dark. Everything is dark. Because we have at least 3 more layers to go over top of everything yet. Do not worry. All right, let's do hands. So for undertones, for hands, I have the center of the palm. I'm going to try a little brush again. Center of the palm. Work it down in there as much as you can. Try to think of the thumb as like a highlight. So, you just want to get down into the center. Obviously I like to do in between the fingers because that would be like shaded. So I go in with my paint and then I will pounce it out. And we're going to go ahead and shade the creases of the fingers. And then later I'll come in and do creases in the fingers. Make yourself a cheat sheet and follow your notes. Especially if you get distracted and you have a family, all you have to do is pull up your little notes and double check where you're at. And then you don't have to worry about. You trust your path of least resistance, right? Can you already see how that undertone is bringing out like the dimension to her hand? Now she'll have highlights on top of her knuckles here, but I add the undertone and then I do my highlighting later. All right, I also like to kind of go around the bottom of the wrist like I did the ankle. I'll blend that out. Oops. So I can kind of take it up around the hand, but I try to do it light because, it's going to be lighter on top. Now, get the crease of the arm. Bring it in there. Give yourself just a light little shadow. Maybe just a tap under the elbow. Very light. And underarm. Oh, sounds like the kids are home. I'll probably be just jumping off my mic for a few minutes when they come in. But yeah, this is the arm then. So a little undertone, undertone, and there. Let's do the other arm. And get that palm of the hand down in there. Get in between the fingers. I don't have in between the fingers on my notes. I'm going to put it in there. don't know if you heard me say this earlier. I do not enjoy doing undertones. It's like my least favorite part. It's so not fun. You know what? But I used to say that about rooting. So maybe it'll be like something that I'll come to find some affection in the future. But as of now, it's like I do not enjoy undertones. All right, so we got the wrist, the hand, the fingers. I didn't really get the thumb. I bet you I didn't get the thumb on the other hand either. Let me double check that one. And I'll do a side by here. Let's look. Undertone. I did a little bit under the elbow on the other one, so let me do this right here. Very light. A little bit of blue, just like a shade. See, and once again, it's doing the stripes. Because of this guy. Don't do that. Don't like it. Okay. Undertone. Undertone. All right, let's do the chest. So just above the collarbone. Like the neck portion, you can kind of see it, and then the collarbone like pops forward. And then I like to go under arms, just a little bit of a shade under the arm, because I also did the undertoning underneath the arm, so then it kind of matches the paint that I just did on the under part of the arm, right? Like that. Okay. And then I do a light in the chest bone, like in the middle. Can you kind of see that? And then maybe just under the chest a teeny bit. Just like that, just to like shape it out. And then the same thing, you have these, like that where the scapula is. And that's probably too dark. Go ahead and wipe that up. Kind of bring it around just to like blend it. I'll do the same thing on this side. There, that looks pretty good. Can you see the shading now? And kind of bring the neck around a little bit. Just ever so lightly. Kind of just to make them shoulder blades. Okay. Blend, blend. Blend, blend. You can kind of see a little bit of shading there. You can kind of see the shading there. All right, let's do a face. V from Oz. All right, I have my notes. Face, undertone, face, undertones. All right. Thin blue skin. That's what we're looking for. We want to do the bridge of the nose. I'm going to pop her eyes in just so I don't get anything on it. All right, so if you're thinking of the nose, this part's gonna like be more forward. So we add a shadow in the bridge to sort of create that dimension of shading. And then you can come, now I'm going to do a lot more detail work around the eyes. But just for this, showing you how to do it, I'll go ahead and tap a little bit in under the eyes as well. Temple. I think I'll just tap a little in the temple here. And what I like to do also is I like to map out where I want my hairline using shading. Or undertones, my bad. I mean shading undertones, I guess it's the same thing. Sure, I get any little puddles. No puddles. All right, ears, right. So I did inside the ear, a little bit of shading down in there. Called ridge of the ear, cartilage, I don't know. I like to shade behind the ears. So get in there, that little crease right there. And it's also shading because it's got like stuff on it, so it's like bringing it back as well. Do that on this side. Chin. Little dimple in the nose. Okay, so we got our hairline, between our eyes, under eyes, around the corner creases of our nose. Inside the nose, probably. I'm just going to paint all that when I get to details, but why not? Start building our paint layers. It's running along the mouth. This will all be detail work later, but just adding paint layers keeps the paint sticking to itself. And also, just like for aesthetics, you want your paint layers to all be about the same. All right, and then I have around the neck, because when we did here, we have this little shadow, and then the head sits on there like this. So I like to give just a little shadow around the base of the neck. A little more shady in the ear. Looks pretty good. I'll probably pop her eyeball back in for funsies. Yeah, that looks good. And her hair will probably come to about just above there. Okay, let's see how she looks.